Hi, folks. Buenas, hola, ¿qué tal? All those other good things. I've spent a couple of minutes messing around trying to get the positioning right. I'm not sure I totally have. That's the kind of penalty for using the back of the iPhone better camera than the the one facing you for the quality of the overall vid. So I'm sorry. I'll get there. I mean, I think it'll do. I've sort of it's a bit of a negative one. This one really. I feel a bit embarrassed, and I feel I should sort of put something up to break my silence. Really, it is pretty. It's not great. I mean, I've got stuck in the reading, and I guess that just happens. I'm disappointed in myself. Hello, pussycat, because that was not the kind of plan. And I was doing so well, really. I was kind of zooming through quite a lot of books, and those were books from the TBRP. Those were kind of books I'm doing with my Chinese student, which are, great kind of children's classics, which I'm finding very enjoyable. In fact, we're doing one now, which I never read for whatever reason, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is an excellent book, really, really good. Um, and I feel guilty as well because the book that I've got stuck on is, as I think I mentioned, my dear friend Russell's gift to me of some years ago. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? But it's not really grabbing me so far. And the kind of puzzle for me is he obviously you would not buy. He is not the sort of person who would have bought a book without thinking it through. And there must be something in this book that he thinks I'm. No, okay. It's a culture and a history and a period of time that I don't know too much about. It's Central American. It's the Central America. Do we class Central? Is it the Caribbean, Dominican Republic? Not quite sure about that. Don't really know. I know nothing about the Dominican Republic. I've never been to that island. I've never been to Haiti. I've been to Cuba, in fact, with Russell in the year 2000, and it was a great, enjoyable trip. Though I do remember us both thinking the food wasn't fantastic, but that's another story, right? So it's a story of craziness. It's yet another book that sometimes I feel it's like a book of science fiction, speculative fiction, because it's describing a very strange, odd, messed up place and society. And a thought that sometimes I have is there are all these kind of accoutrements of a kind of civilized functioning society, and in fact a modern advanced society. There's all kinds of politicians and functionaries and all this kind of stuff going on, but yet it's obviously such a completely screwed up place, which ultimately of course is down to the kind of psychopathy, if I said that right, of Trujillo, the main guy. Now you see, I like this kind of. I'm interested in kind of strange, dark periods of history. I'm interested in the craziness of human society. I don't know whether or not I started reading this too soon after the Cormac McCarthy. Maybe it's bringing out the same kind of reactions in me. I am finding it a struggle, but at the same time, I've made a commitment with this channel, and to friends who've bought books for me. One has to read the books that one has been bought because they bought them for a reason. They love you and they want you to get something out of it, and I feel I should read it. I'm really going to I'm going to push on. I didn't even pick it up for maybe a week, maybe longer, but I've picked it up, and it's I'm pushing my way through. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that it feels too alien. It feels too ultimately yet another grim, depressing book about horrible people doing horrible things, the violence, the kind of the murders, the oppression, the craziness of it all. Sometimes that's what I want to read. I don't know. Maybe this phase of the moon, it's not what I want to read. But okay, I will finish. I also have. I picked up to try and kind of break it by trying to read one book. A fabulous book, which is a textbook, which is basically a a how to write philosophy essays book, which seems like a strange choice, and I appreciate that. But I love its formality. I love its rigor. I think he writes really well, and sometimes that kind of you know analytical philosophical prose is really good. I'm in this chapter on logic, which is I've always had a bit of a blind spot about logic, and it's one of my kind of great druthers in life. I wish I'd been better at logic, and I wish I'd been I do. My mind does glaze a little bit over it sometimes, kind of thing, and I go so far, and then I find it. I don't know. But mathematics was like that for me at one point. But I did eventually get a qualification in mathematics, and I got not an A level, but I did eventually kind of get there. So I think with dogged hard work, one can do it. It's a nice contrast. I've also I've got Charlie to finish with the student. I don't really want to race on ahead. I'm quite enjoying reading it with him. Um, so we're about a third of the way through, and we meet on Sunday, so that'll be a couple more weeks. I also have I picked up when seeing my friend in Malaga a lovely book of kind of classic English short stories, 19th and 20th century. And he asked me, shared it with me to read a particular absolutely horrific short story by, I mean, horrific in the sense of, terrifying, scary, very, very well written, by Angus Wilson, Raspberry Jam, or is it Strawberry Jam? I think it's Raspberry Jam. Very, very creepy, weird book, weird story. And I noticed that the first story is the Railway Signalman by Dickens, which I don't know in text, but I know from the great, 1970s Christmas Eve short ghost stories adaptation. So very keen on kind of reading that, and there's a couple of other things in there I know. So I'm doing that. I also have on Kindle, only download a sample. I read the John Brunner last year, and my kind of science fiction writer contact said, "Well, you need to read." He disagreed. He didn't like my review. He thought it was a bit negative, and he said, "Well, I think you need to give him another go." And I said, "Sure, sure." So he recommended "The Sheep Look Up," which led me to the Milton poem, which was rather lovely. But I could do a bit of that. So I think what I'm saying is that I feel a bit ashamed of myself that I haven't really been as productive on getting on TV. I've had life stuff as well, okay, and not as my primary school headmistress used to say, I want a reason, not an excuse, which is an interesting semantic difference, isn't it? I did this trip and I got some kind of local Spanish life admin sorted out. It was a big deal for me. And I've kind of, it sort of drained me a little bit because sometimes and it was very, very, very social, which I loved and it was fantastic. But also, I kind of need to recharge a little bit after that. I just think, kind of thing. A lot of drinking, which was great. I wanted to drink. I enjoyed the drinking. That's not the issue. But I need to kind of, uh, drain that out of me a little bit. I need to kind of get back to my walking. Haven't picked up the bass for a few days. Bit bad. Want to get back to that. Bit of a quiet time in terms of the work. Feeling a bit kind of flat, I think, really at the moment. Maybe it's a sort of because I was so focused on getting this particular bit of admin, and okay, and now I've sort of got to gather my forces together to do the next bit. Um, and yeah, a little bit flat, a little bit kind of. But look around, it's wonderful, it's amazing. It was very, very rainy and cold on Saturday, and then it was absolutely glorious, and it's turning into quite a nice afternoon, kind of thing. But talking to locals or expats, I guess, I can probably expect very mixed weather until really May. So I gotta kind of enjoy every bit I get. Yeah. So yeah, a little bit flat. I'm sorry. Not sure this is the most interesting video I've done. I want to put it up to shame myself into getting back to the books and really have some proper good videos for you soon. I'd like to do a proper. I'm going to try. I'm going to say it. If I could get, I'm 97-ish kilos. If I could get to under 90 or 90, ideally under 90, before I go back to my next trip at the UK at the end of March, I'd be so pleased. And to achieve that, I need to actually do something, don't I? kind of thing. I had my hair cut. I was very happy with this because I actually walked into the village and I made myself talk to the barber. And I didn't have what I normally have and I had for years and years and years, which is very kind of lazy haircut, which is also probably showing not a huge amount of self-esteem, just a zero point 0.5 all over, because I thought it was simple. But I hate that kind of shaven-headed look now, I think it's very cliche. So I asked for the guy to kind of do it a bit differently in between his English and my rudimentary Spanish and the universal language of men, which is football. We worked it out. Very happy with this. Prune the goatee. I think that's okay. Feeling a little slimmer. People are being very kind about. They see pictures I put of myself on Facebook, and they say you look so much thinner, stroke better now. That's nice, right? So yeah, it's a little bit of a kind of tiny bit of a down day, tiny bit of a pause, tiny bit of a kind of battery recharge. Maybe I'll sort of make myself a little bit of tea, adore the kitten, sit in the sun together, and read some books, and really, really get back on all the various horses I want to be back on, right? And I want to pursue things. I want to kind of sort some stuff out. I want to get on to my kind of next living situation. I want to do some more Spanish admin. I want to pay some more debt. I want to get fitter. All these kind of great things, and I want to read some books, and I want to share my thoughts and perspective on them. And I hope somebody feels like it's useful. Okay, I'll try my clicky thing. There's always a little bit of an embarrassing delay. I hope not too bad. So see you soon, guys, with a proper review. Okay.